Hey y'all, this is Lady Jim, and this is Diaries of a Pastor's Wife. And I am Lady Jim, and I'm excited to be with you guys. I am not going to be on camera this first time. Trying to get my whole life together, so y'all bear with me. Next time I will be on camera, but I just wanted to kind of give a somewhat of an introduction to Diaries of a Pastor's Wife. It was a radio program, and now we've transitioned years later over to just starting a podcast. And I'm hoping to be able to take some of the previously recorded radio shows and import them here so that you guys will be able to listen to them. But I am a pastor's wife. I'm not here just to speak to pastors' wives, but I want to give you guys insight on maybe how a pastor's wife might think and some of the things that we may go through, some of the things that we have encountered, just to give us thought and to help us dive deeper into having that relationship with God for ourselves, not be dependent upon somebody else. Because that's the only way we're going to make it to heaven. It is actually having that relationship with Him, and having that like just one-on-one time with him, not dependent upon anybody else. And I think that's important. I think it's very important. I think a lot of people don't really have that relationship that they need to have with him. And there's things that I do want to talk about, that thoughts that I've had, and just different things that I just want to discuss with you guys. Love to get your input. You can message me here. Um, these are my opinions. These are my thoughts. I'm not putting them on anybody else, but these are things that I've thought about, and I think that other people need to know. So that's what we're going to do here, Diaries of Pastor Wife. I might have a time or two that I'll bring a guest on to talk with us. And if you guys have ideas and just things that you want to discuss, feel free to let me know, and we can open up and have a discussion. And I think we'll have a good time. All right, you guys. Well, today I wanted to talk about um, what type of relationship that you have with God, or that I have with God. There's something I had to actually just kind of look at myself and be like, okay, where is my relationship? What is it like? Is it a transactional relationship, or is it a relationship? Now, I know I'm saying relationship twice, but I want you guys to really to kind of take that in, to think about it, because when I'm talking about a transactional relationship, that means that, God, you do for me, and then I'll do something that you're telling me to do. And in all honesty, that's not a relationship. Um, we oftentimes want to sit up and ask God for this. If you do this for me, and it's always a transaction. Like we are going and we are purchasing something. So that's not what a relationship is based off of. Um, I just had to sit there and think about it. If you think about your relational relationships, their connections are rooted. They're grounded. They have a foundation. It's reciprocal. It's not something you have to think about. And then it's just naturally rewarding. And it's not like you're sitting and making note of everything that you've done for that person. You're just naturally loving. You're naturally doing. If something needs done, you just naturally just step in and you do it. And you're not looking to be rewarded from that. And I oftentimes know that that is the correct relationship that I should have with him. And I think that there are a lot of times I fall into having a transaction relationship. Like, God, if I do such and such, I want you to do this for me. If you do this for me, then I'll do such and such. And there has been a time, and honestly, I look at it recently, that I have been disobedient. And I'm like, okay, God, well, if I do A, B, and C, I want you to do X, Y, Z. And that is not a relationship. Like, I'm not. I'm not married and looking for everything I do. My husband has to come back and then reward me for doing this. If I clean the house, I need a reward. If I pay my bills, I need a reward. If I tell you I love you, I need a reward. No, that's not how we relate in our marriages. I hope you guys don't relate like that. I mean, something ain't gonna go too well if you are. But having a foundation and having that foundation rooted in love. Um, and I think on top of that, it's easy to say having the foundation rooted in love, but you have to know what love is. You have to learn how to love. I don't feel like I always knew what love was. And I think a lot of people get that wrong. And so those are the things I just really, I'm like, being God, like, how does he look at that? Like, his followers and his people only come to him when they want things, and they're only obedient when they want something. Um, and I look at myself as a parent, like, is that the parent I want to be? Is that the parent that I've taught my children that I am? That I'll give you something if you do something for me? And I hope not. That's not what I would ever want my kids to learn, and that's not what I want them to put out there, in the universe. Like, I will only do things for you if you do things for me. I would love for them to have been taught, and for people around me to know that if I do something for you, it's out of love. It's not because I want something back from you. Now I'm not gonna lie and say that, hey, it wouldn't be nice. Like, hey, if I do event planning, if you know that I'm a real estate agent and this, then send some people my way out of the goodness of your heart. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, I would love for that. But if you do that for me, don't have your hand out like, oh, you owe me like $500 because I referred this person to you. That's not how. I mean, who am I to say that, if your relationships are like that with the people that you love and that you're around, um, I would beg for you to kind of maybe take a good look at how you are relating with others, and how it would be if that the well dries up and you no longer are able to provide transactions for people. What if you're one of those people that go out and you run errands for people? What if your car breaks down? What if you become an invalid, or you're dependent upon somebody else to help you? What are you going to do when you can't reciprocate that transaction, that tit for tat, do for me and I'll do for you? What's going to happen? Now, if you take that situation, and you have people that love you and care for you, then they're going to do things for you out of the goodness of their heart, and it's not that they're looking for anything in return. Now, if you just simply say thank you and you show appreciation, I think that is rewarding within itself. And it's not always like, a monetary gift, or anything that you only can touch and feel. I think that it builds upon also your spiritual growth. And when you look at um, your growth in Christ and your maturity, you should be growing into saying that I want to have a relationship and friendship with God, that is between just He and I. And that is something that, is so, you just get to bear your heart and your soul to a friend, who is our creator, who is God. Um, and I think that that is important. I know that when we are babes in Christ, we're trying to learn scriptures, and we're trying to learn like the rules and the bylaws of where we're at. And we're taking in a lot and we're ingesting a lot, but we're feeding off of people. So when you're able to stand on your own 2 feet and feed yourself, then you are able to look and be like, my relationship with God really needs to grow. And it's not dependent upon man, not dependent upon circumstances. It's dependent upon me and Him. And that's it. And I think that's where our relationship, our love, and our friendship with God has to grow. And we have to be dependent upon that relationship, and not just a relationship between my pastor and God. And then I kind of fit in the mix. No, He wants that one-on-one relationship with us. So that was just one of the things on my mind that I did want to talk about. And just, it's something that I had to do inventory of my life, And I'm asking that you guys do inventory of yours, making sure that you haven't fallen into the trap of just a transactional relationship with God, but that you are able to have that good old relating relationship with God. And just praying for all of us. You know, we're going through some treacherous times. We have to stand strong, and our faith has to show. It's definitely being challenged at every left and right, and it's interesting how other religions really do not come under fire like ours does. Um, because I choose to be a follower of the Christ and I believe in God and I know there's a rule there are rules and there are laws that he has laid out for us. And it's our responsibility to hold up the bloodstained banner. We cannot capitulate. We cannot just give in when we know how good God is and we know who He is in our lives. Like, just because somebody else believes different doesn't mean that I have to go over to that side to be able to relate. I'm able to say, you know what? I'm standing strong in who I am. I know that I am going to show love. I don't need to show hate. There's nothing in me that needs to hate, but I need to stand strong on who I am and where I have been grounded and what my foundation is. And that doesn't mean that I have to accept everything that everybody else does, but I can love because look at how God loved us. Like we were and are imperfect, and we're striving every day to perfect, but we are not there. So who am I to point my finger at somebody else? I'm just supposed to show that person love and allow God to take over and to work the way that He worked within us. So just praying for you guys. I'm asking that those that hear this pray for me. I will be getting on again, and I might show my face by that time. Just trying to get everything together and try to be obedient in what God is calling me to do. So I hope you guys have heard something that made sense or that touched your heart or pricked your heart and made you think. And this is Lady Jim, and this is Diaries of a Pastor's Wife.